and get involved in outside activities, especially in the middle of COVID. I was looking for stuff for them to do outside of just being on Zoom in the classroom. I needed them to be engaged in some way. And I started looking up girls' organizations. And there was the Girl Scouts and leadership and service and civic engagement. And I kept thinking to myself, none of them felt right, because when I was their age, I would have never thought about leadership or community service or civic engagement because I didn't know the value of myself. And so it was literally in conversation with my friends where it was like, what do we do for these girls? Because we got to build them up from the inside out. I wanted them to have it earlier than have it at 18, because I wouldn't change nothing for my journey now, right? But if I had knew then what I knew now, I would have made very different choices in my life, and I wouldn't have arrived so late. Although people say you arrive right on time. And so perhaps I did arrive right on time to be able to recognize that this was a need for my girls. And so it was just originally an idea of being able to do Sheros Rise for the girls and their friends. And, we had a pizza party and came up with the name, and they drew like the logo, and it was supposed to be something fun. And then I started talking to other women about it. And it was like, that's so amazing. Let's do something about it. There was just an engagement, like this little tiny spark and idea turned into something a little bit more positive. And it was in the middle of a pandemic. So literally gathered 50 people, 50 women from all different walks of life that I'm blessed to have in my life. And, everyone kept turning to somebody else and telling the story of Sheros Rise and what we wanted to do. And all of these women came on our team and turned it into a 501c3 and then decided to just move it forward. We had no idea what we were doing, but we knew what our core values of what we wanted in our girls to have. Yeah.
You said values earlier, and I wanted to come back to that.
Yep.
So what are some of the values that Sheros is imparting into these girls?
So it's literally, what do you need to be strong within yourself when there's nobody around and you're all by yourself, when you're having a hard moment or you're having a good moment? What do you need to just hold on to yourself, to anchor yourself? And I made a list of what those virtues were for me, right? What did I need? Things like self-esteem, self-respect. Made different choices if I had some self-respect. Self-confidence, but self-reliance.
So it's more than just games.
It was more than just games. It was a deeper connection into myself. And then I also looked at, what did I need as my foundation? And then what did I grow into? Which is courage, compassion, love, and gratitude, right? So it starts with the basics of self-esteem and empathy and all of those virtues, and building all the way up to courage, compassion, love, and gratitude. Those are really important because that's how I live my life now. Arriving at 47, I can now see that living a life of gratitude and compassion towards myself and loving myself allows me to be a brighter light in my world, how to hold my shoulders back and be able to walk through this world no matter what. It's almost having a protective shield around me, which is the idea behind the Sheros Rise cape, right? We came up with the idea of a cape almost like Wonder Woman has her shield, and she goes into battle and she stands there when all these bullets are flying at her, and she pauses and she holds that shield in front of her in the movie, and it's right there in front of her and things are flying at her, and she just pauses and stops and holds that shield to protect herself. And then when the bullet stops, she gets up, she rises, and she goes forth, and she just blows everybody else out of the water. Well, our cape is the same symbol. You need it in moments of strife, when you need to just pause and kind of cover yourself up in it and regroup. And today's compassion, so have self-compassion for yourself and be gentle and kind with yourself, and then flip it around and just soar to the highest possible level that you possibly can, because you are your own light and you are your own power. And to own your power is the greatest gift a girl could have.
Have you noticed that it was a full week about a month ago?
Yep.
Now you're here few Saturdays, let's say, with some of the girls or one, have you noticed a change from day one to maybe the end of the week or to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen changes in all of these girls, even in my own girls, but just how they walk into a room, the way that they ask questions, the way that they're opening themselves up to vulnerability. They have trust in themselves and also in us, and they don't walk this journey by themselves. We pair them up with a mentor, one-on-one mentor, so that they always have somebody who intentionally chooses to walk this road with them. We all need that one person. And once a Shero, always a Shero. We will always be there for these girls. I will always be there for these girls. And to see them blossom and open up and trust themselves a little bit more and take braver risks, have conversations with people that they don't know, open themselves up in small circles when they do their pillars in action, creating a toolbox for themselves. That's really important. And today they're going to draw their own self-portraits of looking at themselves with compassion and self-love. And what does that look like? How do they see themselves now that they've gone through this program?